Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today I'm in Washington, D.C. for Women's Equality Day, and I'm at the Power Up Conference hosted by Take the Lead Women and also Women Connect for Good in Dr. Nancy's organization. Let me tell you, this is my second year in a row, and this is where I spend Women's Equality Day. It's an absolutely amazing group of individuals that come together to celebrate, to learn, and to share and build community. And my next guest is Joy. Joy, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Adam.
All right, I've been trying to get you here for a while now. I'm glad you're one of the award recipients today. But before we get into that, maybe let's go back in time a bit. How are you connected to the organization, and how did you originally meet and get connected with Gloria and everyone?
I found the organization back in 2017, going into 2018, and I would join the first cohort that they had for 50 women
Wow.
in relation to media entertainment. So I got involved right at the time that everything was happening with Harvey Weinstein and the Me Too movement.
Hmm.
And it was a very particular time in history, very emotional time
Yeah.
within the industry to be bringing 50 of us together to think differently and have a shared vision toward gender parity in
Hmm.
media and entertainment.
What is it like to go through a cohort like that? And like, have you made friends afterwards, or do people keep in touch? I'm always curious because the 50 women coming together, like, so many things have come and can come from it. Like, can you talk about that a bit?
It's actually been amazing because I didn't know anybody before I got into the cohort.
Mm.
And then after going through the cohort experience, we would bump into each other in random
Stop.
places, right? And I'm not just talking about the Whole Foods or Trader Joe's.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like at an industry event, you go to a screening, and oh, wait, that's my cohort sister.
Stop.
You start saying each other's names in rooms that they're not in, and they're saying your name in rooms that you're not in.
Wow.
And then on top of that, I co-founded a research and narrative change consultancy called CIME. It's
Hmm.
CIME, and it stands for the Center for Intersectional Media and Entertainment. And my two co-founders I met in the cohort.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How did you? I want to go further into that. So, see me. Go further into like how did you have the idea before the cohort? After? Did this help you get off the ground? Like, where did that
Oh,
come from?
no, because I write and produce, and I was very much a lone wolf in that regard. So I had no thoughts of collaborating with anyone or even starting anything like this.
Interesting.
And then my cohort sister, Dr. Nicole Haggart, she did all of her research on race and gender in Hollywood. She's a public intellectual.
Hmm.
And so she was talking to Monica and I. Monica Laves, former studio executive. She's an amazing producer, storyteller in her own right. And Nicole told us about her research.
Hmm.
And we said, wait a minute, what's this? And at that point, we realized that we should team up. And
Yeah.
this triadic leadership that we've been able to have together, I didn't even know was possible. So not only are we doing work that I could not have imagined, I'm working in this amazing way with people that I'd never really thought I was going to be working with.
Hmm.
So it changed everything on the X, Y, and Z axis for me.
Wow, that's so interesting. And so, where are you at today with your organization? Like, go a little bit further into what the plans are, the
Yeah.
rollout, all this part of it, because this is
We've
good
been
stuff.
having a great time. So since we got formed, which was pretty much after we graduated from the cohort,
Greatness. It
um,
really is greatness. And
yeah,
it shows when a cohort works, when people get together and something new is created that maybe wouldn't have existed without it. Please,
exactly.
please continue though.
And so we've been working with the really amazing organizations to actually change certain narratives.
Mm.
One that we've been working with is a huge STEM initiative for the next generation to help girls as well as boys expand what they think a scientist looks like.
Mm.
And so we've actually got the data. We've seen like what the effects of this have been between
Yeah.
television and film, social media presence of these kids being able to see that it's not just an old white guy in a
Mm.
white coat. It
Yeah.
can be anybody.
Wow.
Back in the 60s, if you would ask kids to draw a
That was the
scientist,
branding for
right?
sure. For sure.
Now they draw anyone,
Wow.
and they even draw people with disabilities. So the
Interesting.
lid has been blown off, and we contributed to that work. We have been talking to studio executives, pharmaceutical companies, like you name it, and going in there and helping people understand that when they're watching something on screen, TV,
Yeah.
film, and they come across this kind of weird stereotype being reflected back to them, and it makes them feel weird.
Yeah.
It's not in their head. It's actually codified in Hollywood, the way that they tell stories.
Mm.
So now they get lighter. People cry sometimes
Yeah.
because they're so much freer, and they start start to let go of these stories that do not serve them toward the type of world that they want to create.
Mm. What does that mean? And because I don't come from the storytelling world, I came from a finance background. I know now, after 9 years being in this business and media full time, and over 6,000 interviews. So now I understand. But for the lay person, the everyday person that you just go to the movies here and there, you maybe turn on Netflix, you maybe just watch something that makes you laugh. How important and why is it important to control the narrative?
Everything we know is a story. You either experienced it firsthand or someone told you a story about a thing,
And that
right?
could be about yourself,
It could be
your
about
race,
yourself,
your
right?
gender. It could be about anything.
Even when we tell kids, don't touch that, it's hot, it's going to burn, until the
Yeah.
kid actually gets burnt, they don't understand what you're talking about when
Mm.
you tell them that it's hot and it's going
Or
to
the
burn them.
adult, who knows?
Right.
Yeah.
So stories are basically what we have to share information,
Mhm.
help each other dream about things, help each other plan about things. When you're trying to come up with something that has never existed before, it can be really difficult. You're still grappling with some sort of story that you had, and you're trying to think beyond that
Yeah.
story. So this is why it is really important, what kind of stories we are bringing into our minds and our bodies, because it does live within us. And
Mm.
a lot of times it can also
Yeah.
limit what we think is possible, what we dare to do,
Yeah.
what we believe we can do together, what we believe we can do alone.
Mm.
So that story that you're telling yourself about yourself at the end of the day or the beginning of the day, a lot of times that is boiling down to actually the way that you're going to walk through the world at any given moment.
And one of my personal missions is to get other people involved in telling stories. Because myself, when I think about when I was behind a desk and I was working, I had clients, I wasn't like sitting around thinking about how can I contribute to this story or to a narrative or to what's being told about maybe my people or other things. But now I'm like, wait a minute, with social media, with other things, like
Mhm.
everybody can participate. You don't have to be full time. You don't have to be a full time creator. You don't have to be It doesn't have to be your job. Like even you sharing your personal experiences and stories, and doing that gives other people almost like permission to share
Oh,
theirs.
yeah. Self expression
Mm,
creates community
mm,
every single time,
yeah.
right? And that's why it is so important for artists to reflect the times in which we live,
Mm-hmm.
because people are searching and they're starving and they're hungry. And when they see that expression,
Mm-hmm.
they realize they're not alone, and it starts to serve as a beacon. I really have started to appreciate now how storytelling, these stories that we tell, are third spaces.
Mm,
And third spaces, they've disappeared in a lot of ways, right? We don't get to gather together without having to pay money to do
yeah.
it most of
Yeah.
the time.
Mm-hmm.
So these stories, these healing stories, can actually be third spaces for us
Mm,
to dream into the types of communities that we really want to have and that we deserve.
mm. Amazing. Joy, I know you're going to be going up on stage pretty soon as an award winner. Maybe to close us out, tell us a little bit about what you're being honored for today.
I'm being honored for my ability to disrupt, I believe. Embracing controversy.
All right.
So that is the disruptor is basically looking at the thing that is controversial and saying, you know what, I'm going to take that as an invitation,
Mm,
not as a deterrent. So that's what I've been doing with the stories that I tell and the way that I'm working toward narrative change.
wonderful. And last thing, I want you to look into the camera. How can people follow you? How can they connect? How can they continue to follow your journey?
I'm pretty easy to find. You can Google me. And if you, are on social media, you can find me under the handle Do It in Public on all platforms.
Fantastic. For everybody watching, just so you know, we'll definitely put some links in the show notes so you can just click on them and head right on over. And speaking of the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way on your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. Enjoy. I'm so happy I could finally get you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.